Thank you for listening to BizPod with me, Paul.
And me, Rachel.
Our weekly business English podcast where we talk about the news, social media, and hot topics from a business point of view. You'll get a podcast and links to the articles we discuss. This way you can share your thoughts too. Join us as we discuss what's on our minds this week.
Hi Paul, we're here again. I've got another conversation for you.
Yeah, and today I think you're going to be talking about small talk.
No, I'm going to be talking about cars.
Oh, what? Fords?
No, it's actually small talk. It's the Ford method to master small talk. It's something we all need in both a business and a social setting these days.
Okay, so why is it called the Ford method?
Well, it's an acronym. The FORD stand for certain things. What do you think they stand for?
Well, I've read the article, so I actually know. F is family, O occupation, R recreation, and D dreams.
Yeah. It says that even though small talk can be challenging, using this method is a way to help you scrabble for things to ask if you're sort of, got one of those painful silences.
Okay. Do you often find small talk is difficult?
Not for me, but I can talk the hind legs off a donkey. I can even walk the hind legs off a donkey, but yeah, I can talk about anybody about anything. It really doesn't bother me.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I don't really think I have a problem with small talk.
Some people do, though.
Yeah.
Some people find it very challenging. I mean, there's that whole thing about asking open questions, what, where, when, why, who, which, and how, because they're questions that people can't reply with just a yes or a no. They've got to give you information. And it does say in the article that the Ford method is a way for you to gather information if you're trying to find out about somebody or a new company or, waiting to go into a meeting. But people can, ask closed questions, and that just shuts the conversation down, don't they?
Yeah. But, asking closed questions or open questions, I mean, they're skills that people have to practice, because a closed question can be a useful thing when you want to get someone's commitment for something. Do you want to buy this? Yes, is the answer you're after. Yeah. So you have to be able to ask those closed questions. But I think the small talk, that sort of just chatting, I think that can be quite stressful for lots of people in a second language.
Well, I mean, that's a very good point, because I often think when we do lessons, we're always asking the students questions for them to engage in conversation. But really, they need to practice conversation questions just as much, probably more so in a business English setting. They need to know how to ask a question correctly, how to ask it politely, how to ask it strongly when it's like bordering on a command.
Okay.
And they've also got to understand how to ask open and closed questions. And I think sometimes you can have even the most advanced English speaker and their questioning skills are terrible because they just haven't practiced them. They've just stood there and been asked questions and answered them. Yeah,
that is interesting, yeah. So maybe practicing asking questions is something that we should focus on.
Maybe it's something I should write a book on.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Just the questions, yeah. I've got one on modal verbs and conditionals and
asking
phrasal
questions.
Verbs. Yeah, maybe question skills. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space. It'll be on Amazon soon.
Within a week or so.
Okay, so this Ford method, F-O-R-D, nothing to do with the cars, nothing to do with the president. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, so those four subjects, I think they're pretty okay areas to talk about in terms of small talk. When you meet somebody, when you're having coffee, in between meetings. What about subjects that you shouldn't talk about?
Politics.
But why? Politics is great. I love politics.
Well, I think in business, politics is very relevant.
Yeah.
So maybe it means in a social setting.
Yeah, but it's still a great topic of conversation. It's great for a debate.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, just don't talk about Brexit.
Another thing that I think is really interesting to talk about, another no on the general list, is religion. I think that's a great topic for conversation.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
I do. I like to talk to all of my Italian students about them being Catholics. So you went to church on Sunday, did you?
No.
What? You didn't go to church? Oh, you're a bad Catholic, aren't you?
No, you can't do that, Paul. That's not polite. Yeah, and Chris, you're not religious. You know nothing about religion. Zero, zilch.
Okay, well, let me tell you this, that I had a very interesting conversation earlier today with one of my Italian students about Carnivale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And my Italian student didn't know the significance of Carnivale. He didn't know what it was celebrating or why.
Okay.
But I did.
Okay.
And I'm not religious, but I knew the significance of what it was about.
Okay.
Do you know?
No, got a clue apart from good cake and a bit of a party.
Well, Carnivale happens to be around about the same time as what we would know as Shrove Tuesday.
Pancake Day!
Pancake Day, which is the beginning of Lent.
It's the start. So they eat all that cake to use up all the eggs. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the start of Lent.
Okay.
And after Carnivale begin the 40 days and 40 nights of fasting or whatever, giving something up until Easter.
Okay.
That's what Carnivale signifies in the Catholic.
So it's the party before the starvation.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Whereas in England, we have Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day.
Yeah.
The Catholics, which is ours is a Protestant celebration.
Okay.
The Catholics have Carnivale.
Okay.
There you go. I knew that, and I'm not religious.
Well, all I know is we are definitely having pancakes next Tuesday.
Good. Okay.
Why is it called Shrove Tuesday?
Because it was a celebration of shroves.
I don't know. You don't know either.
I don't. Of course I don't.
Okay. All right. So back to Ford.
Back to Ford. Okay. So FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't see any damage talking about those subjects. Pretty standard, boring, do you think?
Don't say boring. They're gentle.
Gentle.
If you imagine if you don't know somebody, I mean, maybe family and dreams, you wouldn't want to ask somebody who's a stranger, but in a business setting, straight away, oh, yeah, what do you do? What are you responsible for? Yeah.
Okay.
And you could also say, oh, it's the weekend. What are you doing after work? What do you like to do in your free time? That's a nice, way in to get to know somebody a little bit more personal. And then you can ask about family and dreams.
Maybe. So they're safe subjects that people can sort of stick to. Yeah. Especially if you're practicing making small talk. And if you find it difficult doing that in English, it can be, the topics are quite good, I suppose.
You could say things like, how long has your family owned the business? Yeah. And where's your position in the hierarchy? Where are you planning to take the business in the future? Do you ever get any free time or do you work all the time? There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
That hits all Ford.
Yeah. Okay. What about other methods of making small talk? I mean, this Ford method, I think, there's nothing wrong with it. It's FORD. It's a thing that's easy to remember. It's quite a memorable acronym, and pretty much available to be used in any situation. But what other advice would you give to people about making small talk, especially to our English language learners?
Well, open questions.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to try and engage in it. If the other person doesn't want to ask and doesn't want to talk to you, the problem is theirs, not yours. As long as you're polite and courteous and you listen, don't just ask the question and then get the next question ready. You've got to listen to the answer. Use the answer as material for the next question. So you show that you're listening to them. There's nothing that is more engaging in a conversation than actually feeling like the other person is really listening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
What about you? What advice would you give?
Well, I'm looking at the final paragraph in this article, when to avoid the Ford method.
Yeah.
I think this is not just when to avoid the Ford method. This is when to avoid small talk in general. And it says, in situations when you or the other person are in a hurry, if there's a time limit, or particularly when the environment where you're in is not really a good environment for having a conversation. It says a crowded restaurant, things like that, but it could be a very busy office. It could be anywhere where having a conversation is difficult. You might feel obliged to try and have a conversation, but if the environment's too noisy or it's not a good environment, it's not going to be a good experience for you or the other people involved.
That's a very good point. English people, if you're in a queue for a bus, a tube, a tram, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have a conversation. They're quite happy just to stand there and stare at the wall. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah. English people find it very strange and difficult when strangers try and have conversations with them, especially in a queue.
Yeah. If you're in a queue, no, you're just waiting in the queue.
Yeah. I'm busy. I'm in the queue. I'm busy. Don't talk to me. I'm busy.
No, but what my point is that English people don't feel like you have to have small talk. Whereas in other nationalities, other cultures, I think they're a lot more sociable.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like when we go to the post office, the bank.
Oh, it's half a morning.
Yeah.
Coffee, cake, have a chat. How are you doing?
Yeah. Those, I think for Italians, those are very social environments, aren't they? Yeah. You're expected to engage in that conversation. But yeah, you go into an English post office.
You speak to nobody.
Silence.
Yeah.
You go into an Italian post office.
Jabba, jabba, jabba.
Yeah.
Everybody's chatting.
Yeah.
They don't even queue.
No, they don't. They just mingle. And then
where's the queue?
Every now and then somebody goes to the counter and comes back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there we go. I think that's a good little summary of small talk and a nice article with some tips for you, which we will share. Please read it. From a place called Lifehacker, where they have various different articles about different things.
Yeah.
So give them a whirl.
Yeah. And we want our students to practice asking questions.
Yeah.
So keep a lookout in your inboxes and on Amazon and wherever you see your social media for Rachel's new book.
Which I haven't even started yet.
But you will have it soon. And
I will.
And it will all be about asking questions for English language learners.
Question forms, I think it would be very useful. Yeah, nice little pocketbook.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope you liked our podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Until next time, goodbye.